Like if you need geology type info, hey, just call on yours truly, Beachcomber.
Okay, welcome back to Professor M Matrix Reviews again. Today we are looking at another class figure from the Power of the Primes series, Legends Class Beachcomber. This figure obviously comes in a blister packaging, and we're kind of looking at him from the standpoint of what is he like, how's he transform, and how is he fitting into the modern lines of the Transformers. If you like this video, please remember to like, subscribe, and comment. I'd really appreciate that. I'd like to get to 100 subscribers within the next month. That would be really great. But let's start looking at the figure itself. So the figure itself comes in this nice blister packaging. Mine's a little beat up. I did get it on AliExpress, and it came kind of beat up in the mail, right? So it comes in a nice packaging. On the back, we've got pictures of him. You've got pretty much everything breakdown. It describes the Power Masters as well, or the Prime Masters. And it talks a little bit about who Beachcomber is. Says he's a geologist. He was always known to be kind of the pacifist in the Autobots as far as that goes, and very takes things just as they come. But overall, the packaging, everything like that, I'm trying to go for a new rating system here. The packaging itself, I'd say probably, if it wasn't beat up, looks really good, so I'd say probably 3.5 out of 5 I'd rate it. But let's go ahead and look at everything we've got here. So let's go ahead and get it.
Oh my, it's paradise.
So let's go ahead and get him out of his package and see what comes with him. So we got all the packaging here that comes with him, and he's already free. I guess the packaging didn't hold up. And we've got a piece of him that came loose. That's fantastic. Nothing we can't fix. But let's go ahead and put his packaging kind of back there and out of the way. We'll figure out where that goes in a second. Let's put him onto the table here. So we get his instruction manual, which, from what I understand, he's pretty simple. We talk about the power of the primes, and we talk about the actual transformation of the figure itself. We'll set that aside for now. We'll get rid of this. And we've got his little cards. That's one of the features that comes with the Power of the Primes figures. And we'll look at what his card is here in just a second and get it out of its packaging. So we have a really nice shot of Beachcomber on the card. It's one of the blue cards, and on the back it lists him as a Vector Beachcomber to use Vector Prime for time travel. So we'll kind of set that down here and out of the way.
I dig projects that don't require conflict.
But let's look at Beachcomber overall from the front and side view. I mean, he looks really nice. Overall sculpting is really good. He looks exactly like you'd kind of expect a dune buggy or something like that to be. Obviously, that's where they got his name from. He's got decent sculpting. His head's nice. The overall body parts are kind of what he looked like in the Gen 1 cartoons. And he's actually pretty solid as a figure. He's a decent weight. So let's take a look, and let's break out the good old ruler here and take a look and see how tall he actually is. So let me get that out here. So overall, Beachcomber stands probably just under 4 inches tall, and then across the body, probably just about 2 inches wide. That's in freedom units. That's not in metric. Probably should switch to metric. But overall, it looks like a really solid figure. So let's look at articulation here. So let's start with the head. The head is on a pivot joint. It does not have any up and down. It just has very, very minor rotation. No waist swivel at all, no ab crunch. Let's look at the arms. The arms are on a ball and socket joint, so they should have full rotation, and they do. They're just very stiff. The wheels out here are just pinned and pegged in. Both of them are. Neither of them are pinned. So that could be a problem. No, the top one's pinned, the bottom one's pegged in. So top one's probably last a little bit longer. We've got full elbow flexion, so just about full 90 degrees of elbow flexion. We do have some elbow rotation as well, and he has some serious fists on him. Those are seriously chunky fists. But he can do full, I'm going to fight Mike Tyson posture with both his fists. So let's look at the hips. The hips themselves are also on ball and socket joints. So we've got more than 90 degrees of hip flexion. We do hit a little bit of the post back here going back in, so probably close to 75 degrees of hip extension. Out to the side, we do not have a full Jean-Claude Van Damme. He gets close, but he needs to stretch out those hip adductors a little bit more in order to get the full way down. But he gets pretty close, so I'm going to say he's close to, you know, almost having a full 180. He can almost touch, but not quite. Then we got the knee. The knee does do more than 90 degrees, and look at that. It came right off. That's one of the side effects of some of these older figures, right? They just kind of sometimes do things like this, so let's go ahead and fix this really quick. The good news is it pops right back in. So yeah, so we've got more than 90 degrees of knee flexion if we want it. Be careful with that knee. We've got no ankle movement whatsoever. You can use these little bars down here to provide a little bit of stability as well, and that's kind of what the figure was for. So he is pretty posable. You know, as far as robot mode goes, I'd say I'd give him a solid probably 3.5, let's go 3.75. So, you know, packaging, I'd say 3.5. You know, robot mode about 3.75. And then mobility and posing for him, it's kind of limited. I mean, you do get most of the motion, but you're not going to get any really aggressive posture without ankle pivot. He can get into some postures. He can get in the wind charger from the Transformers the movie posture, obviously. But overall, not much going on there as far as posture goes. I'd say he's still very posable, so let's say about a 3.5 out of that with mobility and posing. And then for accessories, he doesn't have any. Other than whatever this mystery piece is here that we'll have to figure out. There's nothing much going on. He doesn't have any guns. He doesn't have his famous parrot. He doesn't really have much of anything going on with him. He just is what he is. So we can't really give him any points for accessories because there's nothing there. So let's go ahead and do the transformation. Let's take a look at that here. So if I remember correctly, he's not that difficult. We extend his body, which hides his head. And then we're going to go ahead and take the arms here, and they are going to tuck right into the sides. So we'll get them lined up, and they'll snap into the side here. And they're lined up. So that's basically kind of the back of the car already set up. Then we're going to pick up his dune buggy roll cage. And then his legs, we're going to pull out the rest of the roll cage. And there goes his leg in. I've got a very loose set of legs, huh? We're going to pull out his roll cage. And then his legs themselves, I'm going to be a little more careful when I roll them over, are just going to flip over on themselves. So they'll flip over on themselves. Once they're flipped over, they will go ahead and pin together. So you come in here, and if you look, you can just barely see in there where this piece is going to clip together with the other piece. So we're going to squeeze it and get it nice and tight there together. Once that's together, we're going to take these two pieces, combine them as well. So we'll take that peg, put it in with the other peg. So if you look, this peg's a positive, that peg's a negative. And we just kind of work them together if we can. Mine's being cantankerous. So let's go ahead and get him pinned back together here on the feet. And then my piece is just not going together. I don't know if it's just not sized right or what the deal is. Let's pull it out here and we'll get it together out here, make it a little bit better. And his leg came off again. I might have to fix that on mine. He's kind of loose. So let's go ahead and put this back in here, tighten it down. Let me try connecting them while they're out here and see if that makes it a little easier. Try lining them up, getting everything together out here. Mine just does not want to go together. I might have to drill that out a little bit to give it a little bit more space to go together, but let's just go ahead. So we'll fold him up and over. Once he's folded up and over and everything's pegged together, these pieces will combine down with this one here. So they will sit into that peg on his back of his buggy to make the roll cage. There we go. So those pieces at least go in nice. So I have to work on that middle piece. And there he is in his alt mode. So we'll take a look here. I'm going to set this out to the side. there he is in his alt mode. Definitely dune buggy looking. He's got his headlights up front here. I got them all cattywampus up front and not connected together very well, don't I? He does have that very prominent Autobot symbol there on the front. He also had a little bit of deco painting, some stickers on the bottom as well. Obviously the back is just hiding his head, right? But overall, he's a good looking figure, even in this alt mode. So transformation's really simple. I would say transformation wise, he's probably fairly simple. I would go probably maybe a 2 or a 3 for transformation. It's pretty simple, so let's just go with a 2. Alt mode, though, looks pretty sharp. He looks the part of Beachcomber. And for a while, he was kind of the best Beachcomber we have. So I would say another 3.5 in his alt mode. He does not have any other alt modes, whereas some of the other Transformers do have alternate alt modes, so nothing there. He doesn't have any accessories to store, but the nice part about it is there is room in his cockpit there where you could put a Power of the Primes minifigure, right? So he would be able to transport, say, Vector Prime or any of the Power of the Primes figures right in there, and that gives you that ability. So there is some accessory storage, so we'll give him a 3 out of 5 on that. And then let's take a look at mobility. So overall, rolling-wise, let's get our slider out of the way here real quick. He rolls pretty smooth. So he rolls back and forth really well. There's not a lot of hitching. The wheel's smooth. They roll very nicely. Overall, I'd say for mobility, he definitely, in alternate mode, has probably a 4 out of 5. And then, fun factor, I'd say he's kind of a fun little figure. Not only that, but because he's so inexpensive, he makes a very, very nice figure that you can get for somebody and not really worry about if they mess up the figure. He's just a fun little, small transformer that goes along the lines like Bumblebee and Cliff Jumper and things like that. Speaking of which, let's take a look at him compared to some other Transformers. So we'll put him kind of in the center of the pedestal. Here he is with Power of the Primes Cliff Jumper. So he's about the same size as Power of the Primes Cliff Jumper. Here he is with Chase from the Legacy series, which brings in the Autobots from other cartoons. Here we have Wheeljack figure comparison size-wise. Let's look at Wheeljack from maybe the War for Cybertron series. They're all about comparable size as far as he goes. Let's take some of these out of the way. Leave Cliff Jumper in there. Let's take Chase out. But then when you get into some of the bigger boys, he definitely starts to show his size problem. So if you look here, here he is next to our buddy Road Hauler, and definitely small compared to Road Hauler. And then we'll take, Windcharger out there, and here he is next to War for Cybertron Ironhide, and again, a little bit smaller than them, but he scales really well with them. So, I can't complain about him. Overall, he's a fun little size, fun little figure. I would definitely give him a solid, like I said, solid 3, 4. Let's go 3.5 out of fun for fun. And overall, really just a fun little figure to fiddle around with and have just a lot of fun with. He's not really something you're going to worry about breaking too much. There's not much detail in his alt mode. I mean, you have his dune buggy lights, but again, if you just kind of flip him over, he literally is just a collapsed figure. It's not that hard to hide. And again, I really wish there was something that would cover that gap up in the back, because there's just his head hiding out. Nice if there's a piece that slid up and covered that or something like that. I'm sure in third party there probably is. But overall, I really like this figure. He's a good, solid figure. He's definitely for somebody that likes the smaller, the mini bots and stuff like that and wants to relive some of their childhood. Again, overall, solid overall rating. I would say overall probably a 3.75 out of 5. It's a really good figure. Again, rating based upon the size he is and for the group that he came from with the Power of the Primes. I would recommend him to pick up for somebody that wants something like this to keep on your shelf, or to hand to somebody as an intro Transformer. I really do recommend him. I think he's a really nice little figure. Again, I like Windcharger as well. He was a nice little figure from the Power of the Primes as well. But he's a good little figure to pick up. I would really recommend him. Right now, I just want to thank you for watching the video. And if you would, please go down in that bottom part of the video there. Please, down there, right? You can see it's down there. Like, comment, subscribe. I really would like to get to 100 subscribers by, say, the end of February, if possible. I don't think it's possible, but I'd really like to try. And then also, if you could, leave any comments that you might want for another video coming up. If there's a figure you'd like to see, please leave it in the comments below. I'd be glad to go ahead and look for it. And hopefully in the future, we'll get to see more of these figures just like that. But for now, I think Beachcomber's going to sign off. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.
We won.
Patience, General Stryker. The Decepticons will have control over Cybertron soon enough.
Whoa. Say what, dude? Decepticons on Cybertron?
What? Where did you hear that? I will not allow unsubstantiated rumors to be spread. What is your name, soldier?
Oh, Beachcomber, sir. So how come you were wearing a Decepticon logo before? That's not cool, man.
Actually, Beachcomber, there is a very good explanation for that.
I don't get it.
You will. Shockwave to Megatron. I cannot maintain my cover for much longer. Where are you, Megatron?